Hey guys. Okay, so I wanted to actually record this week's podcast as a video, mainly because I've tried to record this twice now, and audio keeps messing up, and I'm like, I'm just not going to do that again. So here we are. We are recording this as in a video form, but we'll also have the audio form for you guys that like to pop the earbuds in and kind of go do your thing while listening. And what I want to talk about today, what I want to share on the podcast today with you guys, I want to talk about some kind of misleading things that I see in the coaching space, mainly the coaching service kind of industry, the kind of service niche, mainly with coaching, but I see this in also the like done for you and stuff like that. But it's a lot in the coaching space, and it's not only misleading, but I also find it very out of integrity. And it kind of strikes a nerve with me. And that's why I wanted to come in here today and I want to talk about this. Before I even say anything and get into it, I also want to be very, very clear. I also want to be very clear that I'm not against any strategy. I'm not against anything I talk about today. It's not about a good, bad, right, or wrong. It's more just a perspective. It's more of what I see going on and what I think about it versus this way or that way being the right or wrong thing. I don't really have a preference with things. And so I want to kind of preface that first. And I'm going to probably reiterate that several times in everything I say, because I know that it's easy for people to create a lot of drama and to twist things and make something that it's not. So I want to continue to elaborate on what I'm saying and be very, very clear with what I'm saying as I'm saying it. So the thing that I think that's coming up for me, and we might have other podcasts on this because I don't think it's like a one-off conversation. I actually am very surprised that this isn't a more common conversation in the industry right now. But I'm perfectly okay with going first. I will absolutely do that and shed some light on this. The thing that I think is so misleading right now in the coaching space, heavy. I'm seeing this like all over the place. It's blowing my mind. Is you see these, coaches and these influencers that maybe you look up to, maybe you see them as they're successful, they're accomplished, they're crushing it, they're hitting seven figures. Like you see all these things, right? And you really look up to these people. And the thing that I think is probably one of the most misleading things that these types of people are teaching and promoting in the online space is they're selling you a pipe dream. They're selling you something sexy. They're selling you something that they know if you are uneducated in this area, if you don't know better, and you are desperate or you are really wanting to reach a goal and there's something that you're really wanting to accomplish, but you don't know how to. I find that a lot of these so-called influencers and successful coaches are preying on the fact that there's so many uneducated people that don't know better. And so what they're doing is selling you the sexy thing. They're selling you the pipe dream. They're selling you, hey, guess what? You can run Facebook ads to an automated funnel, to an evergreen automated course, and you never have to put any effort in. You can just take everything I've done and plug it in and boom, you can just like go have all this success and you never have to have a call with anyone. You never have to do sales again. You never have to sell. I mean, the other day in my feed on Facebook, I literally saw an ad that popped up in my newsfeed on Facebook, and it said, grow your business to seven figures, leveraging social media, and never have to be social or talk to anybody again. On so many levels, that is like a crock of bullshit. That is absolutely the shit I'm talking about. Like, how do you say that with like integrity? How do you say that with honesty? How can you sleep at night? How are you using Facebook, aka social media? How are you doing that? And then telling people that you're going to show them how they can build a business without doing that. Are you just a dick or are you stupid? Like, where are we here on that fine line? Because this is so dumb. It doesn't even make sense. Okay. You have to question people's like sophistication when they say stupid shit. Like I just think this is so important that we understand that sometimes things that people say just don't add up. They just don't make sense, right? When someone is saying to you, I'm using social media, but like, I'm going to show you how you can do what I'm doing without social media. It's like, are you an idiot or are you just a dick? Like, what part of this do you think makes sense? Like, at the end of the day, it's like either they think you're really stupid or they're really stupid, because that doesn't even make sense. ABC does not equal XYZ. That doesn't make sense, right? And I see this a lot online with coaches that are looked up to, the coaches that are considered influencers. They're considered 7-figure successful coaches. And the thing is, they're selling you only a third of what you need to know, right? They're selling you only the sexy thing that they know you're going to buy because you're uneducated and you're desperate and because you don't know any other way. And so they're going to sell you the pipe dream because they have one intention: make money. They don't care if you're successful. They don't care if their strategy works for you or not. And they'll straight up tell you, not my problem. You're an adult. You can make your own buy and investment decisions. If you bought this, that's on you. We don't do refunds. That's on you. If it didn't work for you, that's your problem. And there's a gray area there. There's a fine line where, yeah, 50% is your responsibility to do your due diligence and to do your research, and also to ask them questions. And their job is to answer those questions and be available to answer those questions, and for them to not be a dick and to be totally honest about, I'm going to teach you the strategy, but for this to work for you, this is what you're going to need to do. This is what you're going to need in place. This is what it's going to take. And most of these people will not do that. They won't tell you that because it doesn't sell. It doesn't sell, and it's not sexy. And people don't want that. They don't want the hard work. They don't want the effort. They don't want the time. They just want the result, right? They want the end outcome, and they want it right now, and they want instant gratification, and they don't want to know about the hard work. So these influencers will leave that out. They won't tell you that. And so when you make the investment, right, you come in with this idea, I'm just going to plug in their system, I'm going to follow what they teach, and voila, it's just going to work for me. And 99.999% of the time, you don't get any results. It doesn't work for you, and you leave unhappy and disappointed. And we see this every day. And here's the thing, I've worked with and for, and I've been behind the businesses of a lot of these so-called 7-figure, very successful people. And 90% of what they're doing is the shit they're telling you don't have to do, right? They're telling you, they're like, I'm anti-launch. You don't have to launch. They've launched for years. They've launched to death for many, many years to get to the point where they don't have to launch anymore. They tell you, oh, you never have to have a sales conversation again, ever. You could just close everything in the DMs with a quick little boom, and like you never have to talk to anybody again. They were the people that did sales calls for years and years and years and years and years, and they had to get to the point where they don't have to anymore. To run Facebook ads, these are the people that were organic freaks. Organic. They drove organic everything for years and years and years and years until they had it dialed in and they could automate it with Facebook ads. The same people telling you you don't need to do ABC, the reason they are where they are now is because they did fucking ABC. Okay. And I know this because I've worked with them. I've worked for them, with them. I've been behind their companies. I've invested in their stuff before. I've also been in this industry a while. So we took a lot of the same programs together. 90% of them is a crock of shit. 90% of them, they are not telling you the truth at all. Even some of them that are telling you that you never have to launch again are launching. Even some of them that are like, oh, you never have to have a sales conversation again, are having sales calls. And so at the end, and a lot of them are not even making 7 figures. They're just telling you they're making 7 figures. They're not. And so at the end of the day, you have a 50% obligation and responsibility to do your due diligence. And by due diligence, I'm not saying go to their sales page and go read it, because 90% of that is a hyped up shit. It's irrelevant. It doesn't even matter. Half of it isn't even, it's theoretical. It's not even like actual facts or information that's going to be helpful. And it's all the sexy, shiny stuff is what it is. And they'll tell you on the sales page, like, oh, no refunds. Like, it is what it is. All sales are final. And that's totally good. I don't have refunds. but I also am very upfront about what it's going to take and what's required for you to come in this program and get results. And we actually turn more people away than we let in because they don't have in place what is required, or they're not willing to do what is required for this strategy that I'm teaching to work. And 90% of these people you look up to, they're never going to tell you that because they wouldn't make the money they make today if they told you the truth. The reason they make the money they make is because they lie to you, and they intentionally leave out information and important details that you need to know in order for you to make an informed buy-in decision and say, yes, I think that this is going to work for me. Yes, I'm willing to do those things. Yes, this sounds good. Or no, actually, it doesn't sound good. And I'm not willing to do that. And I'm not going to do those things. And I don't have those things in place. So this would not work for me right now. They are not going to do that and lose your sale. And this is the stuff that gets under my skin. This is the stuff that bothers me. And I get it, right? I get it. We have a lot of assholes who make a lot of money. It is what it is. However, how they sleep at night, I have no idea. But they probably don't. They probably have a lot of Botox and a lot of Ativan or something like that. But at the end of the day, I would not be able to lay my head down if I was putting money in my account and putting money in my bank by manipulating people and by lying to people and intentionally leaving out important critical elements that I know have been part of why I'm able to do what I'm able to do. Like, I know that the reason I have not had to do sales calls for a lot of years is because I did sales calls for a lot of fucking years. That's a fact. And that's it. And so when people join my program, I will tell them, like, look, based on where you are, you're probably going to have to do sales calls for a little bit. You're going to have to get some practice in. You're going to have to get the time in. You're going to have to do the reps. Are you willing to do that? And if you ask any of the clients I work with right now, if you ask any of them, they will be the first people to tell you that I am probably the most open book of anyone in this industry. There's nothing I will not tell my clients. There's nothing I will not share. And we are sticklers for qualifying people for our programs. Like, you're not getting in the doors if I don't feel like you fully understand what this is going to take and what's going to be required. And if I don't believe that you can do it or that you will do it. And we will vigorously interview you and cross-reference you and qualify you and ask you questions. Like, we are absolutely vigorous with this, because what is the point of me getting your money if you're going to come in the program and it's going to not work for you? It's going to be miserable and you're not going to get the result. Like, really, what am I gaining out of that? Like a one-time hit? I mean, my clients stay with me for years. I don't need to hustle for sales. I don't have to launch every other week. I don't have to create a new offer every other week. I don't have to run hundreds of thousands of dollars towards ads. I don't need to do any of that shit, because I build real relationships with my clients and I qualify people. And when people join my programs, they know what to expect. They know what they're going to have to do. They know that this is not overnight. They know they're here for a minimum of a year. They know that they're going to be uncomfortable. They're going to be pushed. They're going to be stretched to their edge. They know that they're going to be challenged. They're going to have to do things that they might not want to do. They know what it is. They know what they're buying. They know what they're saying yes to. They know what they're signing up for. That's why we're able to not offer refunds, because we are in full integrity and we have a front end process that qualifies people, so we don't have the back end bullshit. And this is the stuff that you want to be asking when someone is telling you, hey, you can, join my course and we're going to show you we're going to give you all of our swipe copy and you're just going to copy it. You're going to plug that in. You're going to sell a course. We'll give you all our templates. We'll give you all our presentation slides. We'll give you everything. Just copy what we're doing and go do it. And boom, you never have to have a sales call again. You never have to talk to nobody. You don't have to be social, blah, 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 blah. First of all, there's nobody that's ever done that. Second of all, there are going to be things that will that will definitely need to happen leading up to that, and that will need to take place and be set up and dialed in before that type of strategy is going to work for anybody. That's why I said the people that are teaching you this, the people that are teaching you automation, live launched for years. I'm not going to give names, but I can tell you many of the 7-figure people that are in our space right now, they live launched for years. The people that are saying you never have to have a sales call again, they did sales calls for years. The people that are telling you that, you can run Facebook ads and like just make millions of dollars with automation from Facebook ads, they did organic for years, right? They ran live programs before they did evergreen. Like these are the same people. These people telling you, oh, you could just sell courses and evergreen courses and these are the people that hustled and did one-on-one coaching and live programs for years. They traded their time for money for years. The thing is there's nothing wrong with the strategy themselves that they're teaching. The strategy that they're teaching by itself, there's nothing wrong with that. They all work, right? But the thing is that they're leaving out the part that gets me. The part that they're leaving out is, what is it going to take though? Like, can I just start my business today? I just woke up today. I woke up today and I decided I'm going to become a coach. Can I just never sell in a live sales conversation? Do I never have to live launch? Can I literally just automate today? No, there's going to be things you need in place. There's going to be clarity. There's going to be things you have to dial in. There's going to be things that you have to do first before this strategy, advanced strategy, is going to work for you. And that's just the cold, hard truth. And the problem is these people are not telling you that because you wouldn't buy. If you knew what you had to actually do to get those results using that strategy they're teaching, you wouldn't buy. You wouldn't buy because you don't have the things in place, because you're not set up for it, because you're not at the stage of your business for that, because you're not willing to do what it's going to take, because you're not ready yet. Because, right? And they're not telling you that. And that is the misleading piece that I think is a total dick move. I think it's out of integrity, but it's 50% their responsibility and the other 50% is yours. My recommendation is do your due diligence. If you think that there's some magic bullet overnight success pipe fucking dream, you have to really you got to level down. You got to come down to reality that no one is successful overnight, and no one that is successful today did not work their ass off. You have to know that, right? You need to be smart enough to understand when something just does not make sense. You need to be smart enough to be like, I'm going to ask you some questions about that because it doesn't 100% add up. You need to be smart enough to do that. And my recommendation, again, is that you need to ask better questions. You need to go beyond just a sales page or just a sales email or just like a post on social media. And you need to be smart. You need to do your due diligence and ask questions. I want you to ask, how much money in advertising do you spend for that to work? How many years did you have to do something else to get to this point? What's in place strategically for that to work? What is the effort? How much time does this take? What is it going to look like? What am I going to have to do for that to work for me? You need to ask those questions. And if the person running the show is too high on their horse to answer those questions for you, then you need to speak to someone on the team or don't buy from them. Because at the end of the day, you need to be well informed to make an informed decision. And the thing with these types of people is the way they've made their money is by not telling you those details. The way they've made their money is selling you a sexy pipe dream that, yes, they might be doing now, but they're not telling you what it took for them to be able to do that successfully. They're leaving those details out. And so if you're uneducated, you don't know what you don't know. And if you're desperate and you're grasping because you're I want this to work and I want this model or whatever it is, I want this strategy, they know that if they sell you just the sexy stuff, you're going to buy. You're going to go in debt to buy it. You're going to go take out a credit card to buy it. You're going to do whatever you have to do to buy it. And the problem is that you don't have all the information to make that kind of decision. And then what happens is when you're disappointed, right? And you don't get the result and that thing is not working for you. And you go to that person and you say, this isn't really it's not working for me. It's not adding up. They say, oh, well, you're an adult. You made the decision to buy. Not my problem, right? It's not my problem. And at the end of the day, again, there's 50% of that's your responsibility and 50% that's theirs. They think because they tell you on the sales page, there's no refunds, that covers their ass. But at the end of the day, They need to also tell you all the details, right? They need to say, you need to have A, B, and C in place for this to work for you. You should be at this stage of business and you should have these things in place. If you want this to work, here's what you're going to have to do. Here's what it looks like on the other side. Here's what we need to set up. Here's what the effort's going to look like. They actually need to sell you on the shit part that they don't want to tell you so that you can decide, am I willing to do that? Am I capable of doing that? Do I have the things in place for that strategy to be successful for me? And the only way that you can make an informed decision is by having all the information and by having all the details. And the problem is, and this is the part you need to understand, is that most of these types of coaches, if you just look at their copy, you don't even need to listen to me. Just go look at their shit. Go read their sales page. Go look at their copy. Go look at their live videos. Go look at how they pitch you. Just go look. You don't even need to listen to me. This shit is so prevalent. It's out there. You can see it. They're doing it right in front of you. The problem is you're uneducated. So I'm educating you today. And what I'm telling you is they literally will leave all of that out. All of it. And they'll sell you just the sexy thing. And then you're not informed to be able to make the right decision. And then when it doesn't work for you, it's your fault. Oh, well, you should have known. We don't do refunds. You should have known. And again, we don't do refunds either, but we also well inform you. We also let you know. And I'm telling you, like, I don't know anyone who's got in my programs easily without interviews, without cross-referencing. We ask so many questions. We go through so many hoops before we let you in. We almost sell you out. We almost sell you out. Like literally, we're like, are you sure you're willing to do this? Are you sure you're going to have to do this? Are you willing to do it? We're going to stretch you. We're going to challenge you. You're going to be uncomfortable. You're going to have to go live. You're going to have to do this. Are you willing to work this many hours a week? We almost outsell you because we only want you in the program if you're going to win. We only want you in the program if you're going to do the work. And so in order for you to make that decision, you need all the information. And so we will give you all the good, the bad, the ugly. We'll give every bit of it. We focus mostly on the ugly because we want you to know what you're going to expect when you come in on the other side. We want you to know this ain't no fucking pipe dream. This ain't no overnight nothing. I've been doing this for 20 years and I've worked my fucking ass off to get where I am. And I've sacrificed a lot and I've had to work hard and I've made a lot of mistakes and I've learned from them, right? And I wouldn't be hired by multimillionaires and 8-figure coaches to come in and fix their shit if I didn't know what I was doing. I spent 20 years making a lot of mistakes and failing and learning from that. And I can tell you right now that if you're going to come in and do my strategies, this is what it's going to look like. And this is what it will take from you. Are you willing, able, and capable of doing it? And if you're not, or you question it, you're not ready for my program right now. And we will lose money. I turn applications away all the time. I turn clients away all the time. I'm always like ruling people out or disqualifying them, not because I'm an asshole, but because I'm actually in integrity. I'm doing you a favor. I could easily take your money, just like all these other dick coaches. I could easily just take your money and sell you the sexy outcome. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. I wouldn't be able to lay my head down and feel good if that is what I was doing. And so I know that you're not going to ask a lot of questions, or you're not going to ask the right questions because you're not educated. You don't know what you don't know. That's why you're here, right? That's why you go to an expert, because you don't know what you don't know. And so how would you know all the things to ask? That's my job. That's my 50%. My 50% is to make it very clear. This is the strategy I teach. This is what it looks like to make it work. And this is what it's going to take from you. And whether you're willing, able, or capable of doing it is totally up to you, right? That's not up to me. That is totally up to you. You tell me. Right. And if you're not, or there's even any hesitation around it, it's probably not the best time right now for you to join. And we will lose money and we will turn that away if that means that we're in integrity and that you're going to be able to go get the right support. And that might be coming back to us later. It might not be. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to take your money and then you don't win in my program. I'm not going to take your money if I don't think you're capable, willing, or able to do what it takes to get there. And you can't decide that because that's not my decision. That's yours. And you can't decide that with half of the information. You need all of it. If you've never baked a cake in your life and I gave you a box of cake and I cut off half of the recipe and I only gave you half of it, and you've never baked a cake before and I only give you half of the recipe, how do you think your cake would come out? Like, I'm setting you up for failure. Basically, you're not going to have success. That cake is going to be an epic fail because you only have half of the recipe and you've never baked cake before, right? My job is to give you the whole recipe. And my job is to tell you all the things that could go wrong, right? Like, if you don't set the temp to this and you set it to this, here's what could happen. If you don't put the 2 eggs in it and you forget to put the eggs, like, here's what's going to happen. If you don't put the this in it and you don't do that, like, that's my job. That's my 50%, is to well inform you of what this is going to take for you to be successful. And then your 50% of the job is to decide if you are willing, ready, and able to do it. And then you can commit, right? This is one of the things. There's several things in the industry right now that I see going on. This is probably one of the most dangerous and one of the most prevalent ones right now. Is everyone is selling you a pipe dream. Everybody's selling you the sexy, sexy thing. And there's nothing wrong with the sexy thing. The problem is they're not including what it's really, they're leaving out the important stuff. They're leaving out, like, that you actually have to have foundation in place. You actually have to have clarity. You need certain things in place for certain things to work. And when you hear someone selling you this sexy advanced strategy that just feels, oh my God, that would be life-changing. That would be a dream. That sounds so too easy or too good to be true. It probably is. And you should probably pause for a second and ask better questions about that, because the fact of the matter is there's nothing about this business or entrepreneurship that is easy, sexy, overnight, fast, certain, guaranteed. There's nothing. So technically, like, again, when people are selling all these things that sound too good to be true, a lot of it is. And it's not that those things aren't working. It's that they're just not telling you what they actually had to do for that to work. And if you don't have those things in place, this isn't going to work for you. And that's just a fact. It's not theory. It's just a fact, right? If you don't have the eggs and the oil, you can't bake the cake. Like, it just is what it is. The other thing is that I know a lot of these people. We've either taken programs together, or I've invested in their programs, or I've been behind the scenes a little bit in one way or another. And what I will tell you is a lot of them are actually lying to you. A lot of them that say they're doing 7 figures, they're not. A lot of them that say they never have to live launch, they're live launching. A lot of them that say I never have to do sales calls are actually doing sales calls. A lot of them are just not telling you the facts. They're just really not being upfront. And they're only telling you this itty bitty piece of what's actually working all right for them, or what they've been able to do. And they're selling you that because it's the most sexiest thing, but they're leaving out all these other important details of what it really looks like and what it really took to get there. And a lot of them, it's like, that's not even how it is. Like, you're literally telling them one thing, but like, it's not how it actually is in the back end. And so I just want to, this isn't about who's good, who's bad, who's right or wrong. It's just about you being informed. It's about you getting educated, and about you asking better questions and doing your due diligence and your part. It's about just becoming more self-aware of like what is going on around you, and really getting the information and the confirmation and the data that you need to make an informed investment decision. And if what they're doing is so true, they should have no problem guiding you and walking you through their process, walking you through what it took, walking you through how much their time or money they're spending on certain things, walking you through like all the things. They should have no problem sharing all of that with you if what they're telling you is in fact true. And this is something I hold a lot of pride in, because you have all these flashy little 7 figures who, they're going around flashing all this stuff, and it's not what it seems in the back end at all. And at the end of the day, the one thing that I can really just be really grateful for and have a lot of pride in is the fact that I've always been an open book, and I've always been really honest. And I know that when I sign a new client, they have all the information that they need to make this decision. And I know that we've gone above and beyond on the front end to do that, so that on the back end, things are pretty smooth, and that we don't have a lot of refund requests, if any ever. We have, a 95 to 100% retention rate in year-long programs, $20,000 programs. We have a higher retention rate than almost anybody I know in the coaching space. We just have really good client progress results from referrals, and we have the back end almost dialed right in. And it isn't because I'm special. It's because we do that front end work aggressively. We are really, really good on the front end of being very clear about who you need to be and what it's going to take for you to have success with what I teach you, right? You can go learn it from anybody. I'm not the only person that teaches it. I'm just the only person that teaches it this way. And I'm probably the only person that will be completely transparent and open with you about what it's going to take. And we take a lot of pride in that. And we do that hard work on the upfront so that on the back end, we aren't having all these like unhappy clients and unsuccessful clients and people wanting refunds and people being like, oh, I'm not happy. I'm not getting the result and I can't do this now. Blah, 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 blah. And we can avoid 98% of that, 100% of that by doing the front end work of just being fucking honest. Just being honest. Like, this is who it's for and this is who you got to be. And this is what it's going to take. And if you're not these things, this is not for you. This is not going to work for you. And I think that having those conversations, not just putting that in your sales page or your copy, but having it in your conversations multiple times and then really digging deep to make sure people are prepared. Guys, most of the influencers today, they will never spend this amount of time on the front end having these conversations with you. They will never, ever do this because they don't want to, they just want your money. They don't care if you're that successful. They don't care if you want a refund. They don't care if you get results. They are not going to spend the amount of time, money, energy, and effort that I do in my company and my team that we do on that front end. They will never put their time and energy toward that. They would rather deal with the back end bullshit than just eliminate it by doing the front end to begin with properly. And most people, they're just not going to do it. They're just not going to put that energy and time there because they don't want to lose your sale. They wouldn't be making the money they were making right now if they did that, right? Because they're so afraid that you won't buy if you know the truth, if you know what it's really going to take from you, if you know what it's really going to require and how long it's going to take and how much money and energy and change and all the things. They're so afraid you won't buy that they're not going to do it. They'll just keep that information from you. And look, you don't need to take my advice. You don't even need to listen to me. I don't care either way. Go look. Just go look. Go look and go watch the videos. Go listen to their pitch. Go look at their sales page. Go look at their content. Go look at the next time they sell you. They're not going to tell you a third of the shit that I'm talking about. They won't tell you anything of what I'm talking about right here today. They're going to sell you the sexy shit and that's it. You watch, go do it and report back to me. I guarantee you 100% of them are never going to say the shit that I'm saying unless they listen to this podcast. Then they might be like, oh shit, she's calling us out. We better, people are going to be looking, we better smarten up. But I'm serious. Like, it just is what it is. And this is not my perspective, really. I mean, I'm giving you my perspective on it, but this is not like, oh, I have a fun topic. This is like, what the fuck is going on in the industry? We're seeing it everywhere. I have clients coming to us so frustrated. And at the end of the day, I think this is a deeper conversation, right? I think there's people that operate so far out of integrity, it's borderline dangerous because, we're spending all this money and investing in things that, you only know a third of, and you don't really know what it's going to take. And I think that's an unfair advantage. So anyway, I think this is a deeper conversation. A big part of what I do to make sure when people enter my programs, you better believe, that you're coming in and you know what it's going to take and you know what you're going to have to do. And you know that there's nothing overnight, fast, easy, sexy, fun about any of it. Like, we are okay if you're not up for that. We are totally fine with losing your sale if it means that we basically just helped you. We just did you a favor, right? And ourselves too. Nobody wants a pain in the ass client. Nobody wants a struggling client. Nobody wants to take someone's money and then feel like they're not getting the value. Nobody wants to have to overcoach and be over available and answer 10 million questions because they let the wrong people in the program. And nobody wants to invest and have that experience either, right? And so it could just be avoided by honesty, by integrity in the front end. right? So again, I hope that if nothing, that this has just opened your eyes a little bit, brought a little more awareness to you, a little more insight. I hope this has been helpful. And, again, I think that this is something you can learn from as well, because maybe you find yourself doing this, right? You see it and maybe you're following the leader, right? Maybe you find yourself not being honest and selling the sexy thing, but not being really true about here's what this is going to take and here's who it's for. And you got to have these things in place and you got to be ready. I mean, you could talk to any of my clients completely. You talk to any of my clients and they're going to tell you 100%, even in my program, once they're in it, even once they've already paid me, we are still talking about what it's going to take, the effort, the work, the time, the patience, the failure, every single day. Even though they're already in my program, they've already paid me. They're already in my program. We're still having these conversations. And I'm still sharing every single day, every step of the way, anything that's working for me, not working for me, conversations with my mentors that I'm having, like 100% an open book, leaving nothing out. They literally see it, they hear it, we talk about it, I answer every question they have, I guide them through every step of the way. There's nothing that is hidden as far as I go when I'm selling or working with my clients. And we're proud of that. And I can't really say that about other people. And it's a sad thing. It's very sad. The best thing that I know is that I'm not only doing this, but I'm also teaching my clients to lead this way and to run their business this way and to be this way. And that is going to create an impact. And I hope that you guys listening to this can respect this and that you find gratitude in this and appreciation for this. And hopefully, number one, it helps you start leading this way, but two, invest in this way and ask and advocate for yourself and ask deeper questions, ask the things that nobody else is asking that you're wondering. And when someone doesn't have time for you, or they don't have time to answer those questions, or they don't give you those answers, or they beat around the bush, consider that a little bit. Consider that just a little bit. Is this sexy thing, this shiny, sexy thing they're selling, is this really, really the case on the inside? Because otherwise, why would you have any problem answering my questions and sharing this information with me that I'm asking you? So again, I hope this was helpful. I think we'll have some more podcasts on this for sure. And we'll talk more about this. We'd love to hear your feedback. Definitely give us a shout out on the podcast. Give us a subscribe if you're loving what you're hearing here. Send me a DM if you have any questions. We will actually talk to you. If you have any questions about this or anything else, or you just want to chat, we'd love to hear your feedback on this. I hope to see you guys in our next episode. I will talk to you guys all really soon. Bye.